Imagine this. You check your banking app every single month, and without fail, you pay every bill on time. Your rent, your car payment, your credit cards, all of it. Paid in full, paid on time, no exceptions. You feel good about it. You feel responsible. And then one day, out of curiosity, you pull up your credit score and your stomach sinks. It's lower than last month. Not by a little, but enough to notice. Enough to make you question everything you thought you understood about how credit works. You didn't miss a payment. You didn't take on new debt. You didn't do anything that feels wrong. And yet the number that so much of your financial life depends on, the number that decides whether you get approved for a mortgage, a car loan, or even a decent apartment, just quietly dropped while you were doing everything you were told to do. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know something important right away. You are not bad with money. You are not imagining things, and you are definitely not alone. This happens to millions of financially responsible people across the United States and Canada every single month, and almost none of them understand why. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly what's happening behind the scenes, why paying on time isn't the whole story, and the one small timing shift that can start improving your credit score in as little as 30 days. By the end of this video, you're going to understand your credit report on a level most people never reach, and you're going to feel a kind of quiet confidence that comes from finally understanding a system that used to feel like a mystery.
A few months ago, Olivia, a 34-year-old teacher from Ohio, reached out to me. She told me she was doing everything right, paying every single bill on time, sometimes even early. She prided herself on being responsible. But every month, her credit score kept dropping 15 to 30 points. She started losing sleep over it. She began avoiding opening her credit app because the anxiety was becoming too much. She told me, "I feel like the system is gaslighting me." That story stuck with me because it shows how this one hidden mistake doesn't just affect your number, it affects your peace of mind.
Let's start with the psychology of this, because honestly, that's where the real damage happens. When you're the kind of person who pays bills on time, you build a mental model of how the world works. You believe that responsible behavior gets rewarded. That's not just a financial belief, it's a deeply human one. So when your score drops despite your discipline, it doesn't just confuse you, it shakes something deeper. It creates a kind of quiet anxiety, a feeling that maybe you don't actually understand your own finances as well as you thought. Some people respond to this by obsessively checking their score every few days. Others start avoiding it altogether because looking at it feels stressful and unpredictable. Both of these reactions come from the same root cause, which is a disconnect between what you see in your bank account and what the credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian are actually seeing on any given day.
This psychological disconnect is exactly what happened to Olivia, and it's what leads us into the real hidden driver behind most of these unexplained score drops.
Here's the truth nobody tells you clearly enough. Your bank account and your credit report are not looking at the same moment in time. Your bank account shows you real-time reality. Your credit report shows a snapshot, a single frozen frame taken once a month. And that snapshot is often the thing working against you even when your real financial behavior is excellent. This is the illusion of control that trips up so many disciplined people. You feel like because you're managing your money well in real time, your score must reflect that same discipline. But credit scoring doesn't work in real time. It works in snapshots. And if you don't understand when that snapshot is taken, you can be doing everything right and still get scored on what looks like the wrong moment. This brings us to the real hidden driver behind most unexplained score drops, and that is credit utilization. If you've spent any time researching how to fix a credit score fast, you've probably heard this term thrown around, but very few people explain what it actually means on a psychological and practical level. Credit utilization is simply the percentage of your available credit that you're using at any given moment. If you have a credit card with a $5,000 limit and you're carrying a balance of $1,000, your utilization on that card is 20%. This single number carries enormous weight in both FICO and VantageScore models, often accounting for around 30% of your total score, which makes it one of the most influential factors after payment history itself.
Think of utilization like this. Imagine a landlord deciding whether to rent you an apartment. If they see that you're already stretched close to the edge of your income, using almost every dollar you have access to, that signals risk, even if you've never missed a payment in your life. Lenders think the same way. High utilization suggests that you might be financially stretched, even if in reality you pay off your balance in full every month and carry zero long-term debt. The bureaus don't know your intentions. They only see the number on the day your statement closes, and that number gets reported whether it reflects your true financial health or not. It's not that the system is punishing you, it's just reading the data through a very narrow lens, and that narrow lens is what creates so much unnecessary stress. And this is where we get to the mistake almost everyone makes, the one hiding in plain sight inside the title of this video. Most people assume that paying their bill on time is the same as paying it at the right time for their credit score. It is not. There are two very different dates that matter here, and understanding the difference between them is the single fastest lever you can pull to improve your score. The first is your due date, the date by which your payment must be received to avoid a late fee or damage to your payment history. The second, and far less understood, is your statement closing date, sometimes called your billing cycle end date. This is the exact day each month when your credit card issuer takes a snapshot of your balance and reports that number to Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. Here's why this distinction matters so much. Let's say your statement closes on the 15th of the month, but your due date isn't until the 10th of the following month. If you go about your normal spending throughout the month and then pay off your full balance right before the due date, as most responsible people do, you're actually paying after the statement closing date has already passed. That means the bureaus already captured and reported a much higher balance than what you actually owe by the time you pay it off. Your bank account shows zero debt. Your credit report shows a high balance. You're financially responsible in real time, but on paper, to the algorithm, you look like someone who might be carrying more risk than you actually are. The fix here is refreshingly simple once you understand it. Instead of paying your full balance only once, right before the due date, you make a second, smaller payment a few days before your statement closing date, bringing your balance down before that snapshot gets taken. Most major banks and card issuers in both the United States and Canada, including the big national banks and the major card networks, allow you to view your statement closing date directly inside your online banking app or your monthly statement PDF. Once you know that date, you simply set a calendar reminder a few days earlier and make a small payment to reduce your reported balance. This single adjustment, without spending any less or paying any more overall, can lower your reported utilization and start improving your score within 1 to 2 billing cycles.
I remember working with Michael and Priya, a couple in Toronto who were getting ready to buy their first home. They had perfect payment histories and solid incomes, but when they checked their scores before applying for a mortgage, both scores had dropped unexpectedly. After digging into their statements, we discovered the issue was timing. Their high balances were being reported right before they paid them off. Once they made that small adjustment, their scores rebounded within 2 cycles, and they were able to qualify for a much better interest rate. The relief on their faces when they finally understood what was happening was powerful.
Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. If lower utilization is better, shouldn't a zero balance be the best possible outcome? This is what I call the zero balance myth, and it trips up a lot of otherwise savvy people. While extremely high utilization clearly hurts your score, consistently reporting a zero balance on every single card isn't necessarily optimal either. Scoring models are designed to reward evidence of healthy, active credit management, not the complete absence of credit activity. You don't need to carry expensive interest-bearing debt to show healthy credit use. Many financial experts and scoring models suggest that maintaining utilization somewhere in the range of 1 to 10% and generally staying well under 30% tends to produce the strongest results. This shows the algorithm that you're actively using credit responsibly, not avoiding it entirely, which paradoxically can sometimes make your profile look inactive rather than trustworthy.
I'll never forget the message I received from William, a 48-year-old accountant from Calgary. For years, he had been religiously paying every single one of his credit cards down to absolute zero before each statement closed. He believed he was doing everything perfectly. His score was decent, but it refused to climb into the high 700s or 800s, no matter how consistent he was. When he finally experimented with leaving a small, intentional balance on one of his main cards and paid it off by the due date, his score jumped almost 40 points in just 1 month. What surprised him most wasn't just the number, it was how much less stressed he felt about money once he stopped chasing perfection and started working with the system strategically.
So what does this look like in practice? Let's walk through the real steps. First, log into each of your credit card accounts and locate your statement closing date, not your due date. This is usually visible on your most recent statement or under your account details online. Second, set a recurring reminder for 3 to 5 days before that closing date. Third, on that reminder day, check your current balance and make a payment that brings your utilization down to somewhere in that healthy 1 to 10% range, even if you plan to pay off the rest before your due date anyway. Fourth, repeat this every single billing cycle so that the snapshot the bureaus capture consistently reflects a low, healthy balance. I also want to address the mindset barriers that stop people from actually doing this, because understanding a strategy and implementing it are two very different things. A lot of people experience what psychologists call decision fatigue around money. Adding one more thing to track can feel overwhelming, especially if you're already managing multiple bills, multiple cards, and multiple due dates. The way to overcome this isn't to rely on willpower, it's to automate as much as possible. Use your phone's calendar or a simple reminder app and treat this new date exactly the way you treat a bill due date, as a fixed, non-negotiable part of your financial routine. Within 2 or 3 cycles, it stops feeling like extra effort and becomes second nature. I also want to gently caution against a couple of behaviors that can backfire. Some people, once they learn about utilization, get tempted to open several new cards at once to increase their total available credit quickly. This can actually hurt your score in the short term due to hard inquiries and a lower average account age. Similarly, closing old credit cards, especially ones with no annual fee, can reduce your overall available credit and shorten your credit history, both of which can work against you. The goal here isn't aggressive restructuring. It's a small, sustainable timing adjustment applied consistently. Looking beyond this quick fix, it's worth understanding that credit scoring models continue to evolve. Both FICO and VantageScore have introduced newer versions of their models that place increasing emphasis on trends over time, not just single snapshots. And there's growing use of what's called trended data, which looks at your utilization pattern across many months rather than just one moment. This means that the habit you're building right now, consistently keeping your reported utilization low, isn't just a quick fix, it's future-proofing your financial profile against how scoring is likely to keep evolving in both the US and Canadian markets. What I really want you to walk away with today isn't just a technical trick about statement dates, it's a mindset shift. Your credit score isn't a judgment of your character or your discipline, it's a mathematical snapshot of specific numbers on specific days. And once you understand which days those are, you gain a level of control that most people never access. The anxiety, the confusion, the self-doubt that comes from an unexplained score drop, all of that dissolves the moment you understand the mechanics behind it. So here's what I'd love for you to do. Go check your statement closing dates today, right after this video, for every card you carry. And I genuinely love to know, have you ever seen your credit score drop even though you paid every single bill on time? Drop your biggest takeaway or your results after trying this in the comments section. I personally read every comment in the comments section. Your experience might help someone else who's feeling exactly the same confusion you once felt. If this video gave you a genuine aha moment, do me a favor and hit that like button. It helps this channel reach more people who are quietly struggling with the same questions you had before today. Share this with a friend or family member who you know is responsible with money but still confused about their score, because this one piece of information could genuinely change their financial confidence. And if you want more videos like this, ones that go beyond surface-level tips and actually explain the psychology and mechanics behind your financial life, go ahead and subscribe or follow this channel, because there's a lot more where this came from. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.